You spent months admiring your beautiful hydrangea. In fact, it was the star of your garden, and now it looks like this. Oh, don't worry. Your hydrangea is still alive. It is preparing itself for the winter, but you have to be able to protect these beautiful blooms during the winter months. So in this video, I will be showing you step by step on how to make sure you protect your beautiful hydrangea shrubs during the winter months to make sure they are guaranteed to bloom during the summer. So let's get to it. Now, before I go into the steps, there are two types of hydrangeas. This one is a limelight hydrangea. It's a paniculata. This one is the easier ones to manage because this type of hydrangea grows on what's called new wood. Now, the second type is the mophead variety, and that's the ones you really have to pay attention to because their buds are very susceptible to the frost and they can fall off. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to protect your mophead variety hydrangea. These are the buds that you are trying to protect. You can see right here, it's already forming a bud on this mophead hydrangea, and that's not a good thing because they are not supposed to be forming buds right now. They're supposed to be forming buds in the spring, and because we have such warm fall these days, that's what's happening. So you really do have to protect these buds from freezing over. What happens to these precious buds is that they get exposed to the frost, they freeze over, they thaw, and then they fall off, and then you lose the blooms for the summertime. And I really don't want that to happen to you. You have to protect these buds, and protecting these buds is easier than you think. One way is by using mesh. This is a soft mesh. It's very malleable and flexible, and I got this mesh from one of the big box stores, and it actually acts as a barrier against the cold weather. What you do is that you just place it around your hydrangea like this, and there's really no specific way. You're just trying to cover your hydrangea as much as possible. And you use these hooks, and you're going to fasten them on each corner. Just like that. Before you secure all the sides, you can use a bag of old leaves from trees and pour it on the hydrangea. This will act as a blanket and will protect those really susceptible buds from freezing over. So you want to just pack it in. Make sure you also get the bottom of the hydrangea, and you just want to keep packing it in to protect those stems and the buds. I know, guys, this doesn't look very pretty, but in the end it's going to be all worth it because this is going to make sure your hydrangea is protected. You can see right here, and I'm going to zoom into the camera. Right there is a bud. You see right there? Right there. You see? Yeah, right there is a bud. And you have to protect that bud because if you don't protect it, that bud is going to freeze over and it's going to fall off and it's not going to give you blooms. So this may not look as pretty, but in the end, it is definitely worth it. I live in the Northeast, so lots of leaves are available to me. In fact, some of the leaves are still falling off. For those of you who live in colder climates who don't have your leaves, you can also use this type of mesh right here. And this is really great. Actually, this is easier. And what you do, you get this from a big box store too. You can also just cover over, and this will actually act as a blanket for your hydrangea. So you don't have to use leaves if you don't have them. This will act as a natural protection against the frost during the winter months. Now, let me be honest with you. When I was a new gardener, I used to always worry about my hydrangea. And I know lots of people still worry about their hydrangeas, but listen up. Mother Nature does the work for us. Hydrangeas are really resilient. They are cold hardy. They can live in some cities that get below zero and even colder. So if you have a hydrangea, don't worry about it. Don't go over nuts with it. It's really simple. They are really good, resilient plants. And what I like about these funicular hydrangeas, they're less fussier than the mophead variety because you really don't have to worry about their buds freezing over because their buds form in late spring and early summer. But that doesn't mean that these are winter-proof. What you do on the top, you definitely have to do on the bottom. So we're going to do just that. You can use mulch, but why waste what Mother Nature gave you? So if you still have leaves, you can coat the bottom of the hydrangea with leaves. That way it acts as a nice cozy blanket. During the winter, this will break down, acting as a natural organic matter for your soil. So let's talk about watering. I would cut down on the watering during the winter months. I tend to water my hydrangeas during the fall, maybe once a month, twice a month max. But when it gets really cold in the dead of winter, I cut down on the watering. Besides, they are dormant. They really don't need that much water. And if you're in a colder climate where it snows, all that snow is watering and giving moisture to the soil anyway. So you really don't have to water. Now, if you are in a warmer climate, again, you don't have to water that much because the shrubs are dormant during the winter and they are actually rejuvenating. So again, I know a lot of these hydrangeas look like this and they don't look the greatest. Trust me, I know your hydrangea looks bad, but it's not as bad as it looks. They are not dying again. They are just beginning to fall asleep so they can rejuvenate for you and give you those beautiful blooms during the late spring and summer months. Hi guys, this is Determined Gardener here. Lots of people are kind of confused about hydrangeas. They are beautiful shrubs, but they can be difficult to figure out. You are looking at what's called a mophead hydrangea. And if you have blooms now blooming, this is what you have, a mophead hydrangea. How do you prune something like this? Well, the answer is you don't. You don't prune it. Why? It's because it's already setting its blooms. You see, all the blooms on the top here and here and here and even down on some of the stems. So if you cut down this hydrangea thinking, oh, I need to prune it, you are going to be losing some of the buds. And I'll show you right here. You can see that small little buds, and they will have all their buds running down the stem, and some of the buds have not formed yet. So the best thing you want to do if you have a hydrangea that is already blooming like this, leave it alone. The most important thing about hydrangeas is not pruning it, it's where the location is. You want to make sure it is in a nice sunny spot where it gets morning sun and afternoon shade. Speaking of spring, have you planted yet? You still have time to plant your fall bulbs for the spring because the ground is not frozen yet, but time is running out. I do have a video showing you what to do if you want to plant fall bulbs in pots. So you want to check out that video. Keep on watching.